Yeah, I can't help it. I have been laughing for like 5 minutes ever since I finished watching The Flash. It's been 2 weeks, and for some reason, I almost forgot how silly and dumb and goofy this show is and can be. This is season 9, the final season, mind you. Episode 7, entitled Wildest Dreams. So, at the very beginning of the episode, we see Dreamer. Remember Dreamer from the hit TV show Supergirl? I completely forgot about her as well, but we see her here. She's in full costume, and she's in a dream world, and she's trying to tap into her dream powers, like go full Super Saiyan with it. And as it's going on, there's a bunch of people that just magically appear around her, and then Emperor Palpatine, or at least somebody dressed in the robe and the hood that looked just like him, shows up and like zaps away her powers. And then Iris magically shows up in the dream and like fucking dies. And then Dreamer wakes up and says, "What the fuck?" I will admit, it was pretty creepy. It was pretty trippy. I do not blame Dreamer for waking up and saying, "What in the blue fuck was that?" So she realizes, I need to go to Central City. Although you see Dreamer and she's in a Jitters shop that looks exactly like the same fucking set that they use in the Flash City. So if you're trying to tell me that she was in National City at the beginning and she left to come here, bullshit, because that's the same set that they used in one of the dreams of Iris, and in later on when they're at Jitters. I know it sounds like I'm nitpicking. I know it sounds silly to talk about that, but you could tell how stripped down and how low the budget is for this final season. Iris is nervous about publishing this article because she is aware from Barry's previous future maps that this article will be the article that she wins the Pulitzer. And so she's kind of like, oh shit, this is it. This is like a big fucking thing for me. And I feel like I'm cheating because I already know, I'm already aware that it's going to happen. And so she's having a weird thing about it, a weird crisis over it. I didn't mind the Iris character having some internal struggle or conflict with this. I actually think it kind of made her human and humble, right? That she didn't want to feel like it was just being handed to her on a silver platter. So I didn't mind all of that. But then you get this horrible scene where Mark is talking with Keon. I normally would just throw something out there like fake Caitlyn or fake Frost, but the name Keon is so bad and so dumb that they turned Caitlyn into this character, Danielle Painted Baker, that they have her playing this bad character, that I have to make it a point to say her actual name because it's even dumber than if I just made up some silly name. And during this, like water or something spills on Mark's shirt. He takes his shirt off. Oh, look at, he's hot. He's buff. And Keon gets turned on and starts making out with him. And I thought, this is very out of character for Keon to just like, I don't know, have human emotions. She seems very detached with human emotions. And she starts to kiss Mark, and then Mark wakes up. So he was dreaming as well. I don't know if it's the smartest thing to have Mark dream in an episode that has so much to do with dreaming. It's not like they were connected. It was sort of just a random offshoot. Hey, Mark happens to be having a dream as well. Kind of a wet dream. A dream that I think many of us have had at like 15 years old about some high school crush that you're thinking about. But no, Mark is a full-grown man who's having these feelings. He then takes Keon out on a date. She wants to like walk the park and be all spiritual, and Mark's like, fuck that shit. I'm gonna bring you to a bar. We're gonna drink shots and we're gonna do karaoke and basically do all the things that him and Frost used to do. And Keon's like, this sucks. I don't want to do this. And this scene has to be the worst scene in the entire history of the Arrowverse. And that's saying a lot. Maybe there's something else that I'm forgetting that I'm sure somebody will say in the comments. No, this clearly is the worst, this other thing. But watching this now, and the scene of Mark trying to talk to Keon and trying to say that, like, hey, I had a dream and we were kissing and I think I'm in love with you, or I want to try to date, and Keon's like, but you don't even know me. You haven't even tried to get to know me. And while all that's going on, you have people in the crowd, in the bar, who's watching them talk, and they're chiming in with these, like, horrible written and acted one-liners. Yeah, you tell him, sister. Or, oh, this is so cringe. I can't believe he's saying all this. And I'm like, no, this is cringe watching all of you bad extra actors act and chime in with your bad fucking one-line jokes or whatever the fuck they were supposed to be. This was awful. This came out straight from a romantic comedy from the 90s that probably would have been played out even back then. This is terrible. This is all terrible. So, Dreamer goes to, I don't know, did she say she was meeting Iris? Or maybe, did she say that they have their brunches? I don't remember if they've already met or not, but they talk. She tells her about her dream, and then Emperor Palpatine shows up again. Iris can't see the figure though, and the Emperor puts them both in a dream-like state. And so now the whole episode is these two characters in a dream. In the first dream, Iris is the police captain. And I thought that was interesting because her father, Joe West, used to be the police captain. So I thought maybe they would say subconsciously that there were other dreams and goals and maybe other things that Iris wanted to do in her life and her career, but she's now on this other path, and so she's uncertain of, like, maybe she wanted to become like her father. But no, it was just a random moment, and then they immediately go through this blue door, and they wind up working at Jitters. Another dream, another reason to be on the Jitters set because we can't afford to go anywhere else. And I couldn't help but, like, you see Grant Gustin working at the Jitters place in the dream with them. And then you see Grant Gustin show up and he finds the two characters passed out, Iris and Dreamer. And he brings them to the lab and they're trying to figure out what's wrong, trying to figure all the stuff out. Grant Gustin is in this episode. It's not like the previous episode when him and Iris bounced, when the actors clearly didn't want to be in that episode or they couldn't afford to put them in an episode, so they got rid of them and they made the whole episode about fucking Cecile. This episode, he's there. They had him, but they decided to sideline the Flash. They sidelined the Flash. When you had him there, he didn't do anything Flash-like. This show is called The Flash. This show is the final fucking season of The Flash, and we're not doing anything Flash-like with him. I know I talked about the budget's been cut clearly. I know I talked about how they are bankrupt with their creative and their storylines and their writing, but this is horrible. It was horrible for me to see Grant Gustin do absolutely fucking nothing. A big fat waste of time of him to shoot any of these random scenes that he's in. In the Dreamland, they're talking, Dreamer and Iris explains to Dreamer, like, hey, I'm having this weird thing about the article, and I don't know if I want to do it or not. I don't know if I want my destiny to be this and that. And I felt like Dreamer was going to listen to her and say, really? We're stuck in this dreamland? We could die? You could possibly die? And you're fucking worried about this article? Fuck off, bitch! Like, of course, she didn't say that. She sat there and listened as if they're just two friends hanging out, even though they're in a dream world. But okay, sure, fine. And it was funny because we have a moment where Barry is trying to figure out what's wrong. And he says, hey, maybe we can call Kara and Brainiac because they know Dreamer's powers better than we do. Oh, no, they're off-world. Now, I'm glad that they at least addressed it and they at least said it. But it sucks that we can't afford to get Melissa Benoist to show up for one fucking episode. Hell, even one scene where she could fly in, see them passed out, and says, oh shit, I'm gonna go and, like, see if I can figure something out. I'll be back. And even if she's not the cause of helping them, and then maybe she comes back at the end just to hang out with them. It's just, it sucks that, like, we just can't do it. We just can't ever see her. I guess we won't end up seeing Melissa Benoist ever again in the Supergirl outfit. And then Barry also says, "Hey, I'm gonna go call the League," which I said to myself, "Holy fuck, they do have their own Justice League." But then he said, "It's Diggle and Cisco. Like, they don't really have. There is no Green Arrow. There is no Batman. There is no Wonder Woman. Hell, is Superman even in their world anymore? Superman and Lois, that show is not connected to the universe at all anymore. So is Tyler Hoechlin still the Superman? Is there a Superman there? Who fucking knows?" And we can't even get Diggle and Cisco to show up. I know Diggle will show up, I think, in the Oliver Queen, Stephen Amell return episode, whenever the fuck that is. That can't get here soon enough. But like Cisco, I saw like a TV commercial of the actor that played Cisco in a new show. He has a new show that he's doing. I think he's even the star of it. Good for him. I'm glad that he's moved on from this bullshit and he hopefully gets to bigger and better places in his career. But they can't even get Cisco to come back for one episode in the final fucking season. This is wild. And now we get to a scene where the Dreamer and Iris are talking to each other, and they're still in the dreamland, but they're talking in what looks to be a parking lot or something, and then they just wind up in this creepy looking warehouse, the same room that was in Dreamer's dream at the beginning of the episode. And you see the people, you see the figure, they start running away, they're running down the hallway, and the camera's all fucking weird, and to make it look creepy. And I thought to myself, holy shit, is this Freddy Krueger? Are we gonna introduce like this dream villain that's kind of like Freddy Krueger, but obviously not as good or not as funny or entertaining, but at least it's that concept? I started to kind of perk up and get into this a little bit. Like, ooh, what are we going to do with this villain? Or what are we going to do creatively with the dreams here? Only to find out that Dreamer has a moment where she tells Iris that, like, hey, there's a web of a door here, and her mother, I guess, was killed by a spider bite. I'm like, what? Did we already know that? Her mother didn't become Spider-Woman? No, I guess she just died from a spider bite. Okay, random. And so Dreamer decides, I need to go through this door alone. I don't know how she came up to that conclusion. What if she goes through the door and Iris is fucking stuck in dream limbo land? She just knew that she had to go through the door by herself. She goes through the door. She comes face to face with this Freddy Krueger character, only for the hood to come off, and it's this random black chick. And I'm like, who the fuck is this? Is this a character that we're supposed to know? Was she in a Supergirl episode that's connected to Dreamer? I had so many questions. This actress doesn't even talk. This character just stands there and smiles creepily. And Dreamer says all of the dialogue herself of like, oh, you're the original Dreamer from my home planet. You're like at the top of my lineage of dreamers. And you're the one who's been trying to help me and show me and help me with my powers. And the other Dreamer's just like, not talking, no communication, no even heartwarming, cheesy conversation. No, there's no dialogue from her at all. Dreamer just figures it all out by looking at her. And so this whole time they were never in danger. Iris wasn't in danger of dying. This was all just a test to see if she had it in herself to like go along with whatever would happen, to accept her potential death, I guess. And so now she has her full potential powers. I don't fucking know. That was weird. And then Dreamer says something to the effect of like, so this is why you wanted me to come to Iris, because Iris and I are connected. We somehow now both can reach our potential. And the other Dreamer's just like, and I was like, what? You're connected to Iris? Dreamer? Really? You two characters that had nothing to do with each other, we've never seen on screen together, ever? Iris was the only one that could unlock that. Really? You mean Brainiac, Kara, even Alex, anybody that you know? Martian Manhunter, none of them could have done it. It had to be Iris. So talk about a completely forced way to get the Dreamer character onto an episode of The Flash. Now, granted, I begged and pleaded for those 5-part episodes of Batwoman to like get rid of that bullshit, the fake Reverse Flash or whatever the fuck Red Death that she was, and have more characters from the Arrowverse, side characters even, come in to get their own episodes. And so technically that's what they did with Dreamer. Now, is Dreamer a character that I gave a shit about before this? No. Do I give that much of a shit about her after? Not really, but I don't dislike the actress. I don't dislike the character. I don't dislike really the use of the character to come in here. Technically, this is kind of what I wanted. I just feel like the writing was bad. I feel like the situation was bad. I feel like all of this was forced. But at the end of the day, it's clearly not the worst episode that they've done this season, which is only an indictment on how bad this season has been. The rest of it has been such dog shit that I have to take an episode that's badly written and say, it's not the worst. And so, yeah, they all make up and they have this weird fucking happy ending. And the very last scene is everyone about to have family dinner because Cecile can do everything. She can read minds, she can lift objects with her mind, and she can cook her grandmother's cheese casserole sausage bullshit. And right before they eat, Mark comes to the door, and I was begging for Keon to open the door and say, "Oh, hi, Mark." But she was mad at him, so I guess we didn't get that. And Mark apologizes. He's profusely just, "Oh my god, I can't believe I hurt you. I did this and that." And Keon just says, "Shut the fuck up. I forgive you. That's what friends do." Oh, ooh, the friend zone. Ooh, that does not feel good. Believe me. And Mark says, "I have to go. I have to go. I can't do this. I can't keep hurting you. I can't keep dragging in my Frost stuff." And I agree. First of all, I don't care about the Mark character, so he can leave and be gone. But also, the idea that he's this in love with Frost, and he's face to face with basically Frost's same body, or Caitlyn's same body. They look just alike. Of course he's going to be really fucked up. Of course he can't deal with being around her. What do we expect? Why did he stick around as long as he did? So, okay, fine, we left, and Keon comes back, and she's sad, and she freezes everything at the table. Freezes the drinks, the food. So I don't know what we're supposed to get from that. I don't know if we're supposed to think, oh shit, is she really Frost? Or does she still have Frost's, powers, abilities latent still inside of her? I don't really know. It all seemed kind of weird and random and an odd place to end the episode. Now, the reason why I started laughing when the episode ended is because they showed a commercial for next week's episode. In the commercial, all I saw was that it looked like Barry and Iris get stuck in either a dream world or they get stuck in the same room and they can't escape. And it felt like the laziest, dumbest plot after we just had a bunch of lazy, dumb plots. So this is ongoing. We're not going to escape the bad writing ongoing. This is episode 8 of a 13-episode season, and this is what we're going to get. Holy crap. So I had a good laugh watching that preview. Let me know in the comments below, guys, what do you think of episode 7 of The Flash, the final season? Of course, it keeps on sucking. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.